I set 3 records at the university level.
Wow, I didn't even know that they owed the money.
Exactly, 24 hours to write a business plan. I guess the journey itself chose me. I rejected my application.
Doors are closed,
Yeah.
you find another one.
Exactly.
Welcome to Let's Go Deep with Molly Abdouali. Today I'm interviewing Nadal Sarkytbayev. He is a co-founder of ApTap and a founder of Zeal. He will tell us more about that. How are you?
Sure, thank you for the invite. Pleasure.
You're welcome. So, could you please tell us about your journey? How did you become a physicist?
Sure. I can start from the beginning. I came here quite a while ago. I studied at boarding school, came here in year 9. I went through this whole boarding school experience, Hogwarts experience for a lot of people who haven't been into UK. Managed to get to the top through academics and sports. I managed to become a college prefect and head of house, which then gave me ability to go to university. A funny story, I guess I started as an engineer. I had an ambition to build rockets and things like that, so I thought maybe I'll become a mechanical engineering at the beginning. Having done the course for 6 months at Loughborough University, which is a very well-known university for 2 things. One, sports, which is the number 1 sports university in the country, by a mile, by the way. And the second one was engineering. It's called go to a big engineering school. So
you did your bachelor's degree there?
Correct, yes. I started my bachelor's degree. I was passionate about football. I wanted to play professional football. And I also had inclination for science and engineering, especially physics was my go-to subject. Started as an engineer. Realized that I'm not passionate about that. I don't like learning things.
But you were in top 2%. Somehow.
That's right.
Even if you didn't like it.
That's right. I dropped out. So I dropped out after 6 months for my mechanical engineering course. And then I was trying to figure out what is it I'm truly passionate about. I guess for me, I got super lucky. I met an amazing teacher back at school. I call him my personal Richard Feynman. Richard Feynman is, if people don't know, is one of the most renowned physicists ever to live on this planet. He's kind of along the lines of Albert Einstein. He worked on the atomic bomb. He has one of the most amazing quantum physics theory. So I met this teacher who gave me this initiative of following the physics as a passion. We used to play tennis, and he would teach me physics while we playing tennis. So when I dropped out from my first course after 6 months, I kind of went back to thinking, what is it that I was truly passionate about at school? And the fact that I had this amazing teacher, Richard Feynman, his name is Dolan. I decided to go back to physics. Haven't told my parents until I got accepted. I got accepted because I had pretty good grades. And long story short, I was top 2%. My grades went up. My passion was there. Bachelor's degree, I was doing master's level courses. I set 3 records at the university level.
Wow, genius.
Well, when you find something that you do love doing, it becomes a play. And for me, physics was like playing tennis. It's the same thing, mine.
Amazing. I wish I could play tennis. Like in physics, even worse. But ApTap is a completely different thing.
Right.
So how did you switch to, it's more fintech, right?
Yeah, that's right. So
what is it? Could you please tell more to our listeners?
Sure. Just to complete the story, I guess from my getting the first at Loughborough University, finishing bachelor's, I decided to enroll to masters at the Imperial College London. So I thought it's time to go back to London and do something more deep. And I wanted to pursue my passion with physics, and I did masters in theoretical physics. And then that's when I believe went from the journey of physics to fintech. Few fortunate things happened. I attended an event which was done by founders of the futures at Imperial College London. They talked about open banking. That was sort of 7-8 years ago, I think. And at that time, open banking was a very new concept. Nobody knew what it is. And I had an idea of essentially using open banking technology and then helping people manage their bills and subscriptions.
So what is open banking?
Open Open banking, to put it very simply, it's an API that allows you to connect to any bank in UK and be able to access your account information. So your spending patterns, how much you spend for certain things, and you can retrieve that information over a space of 3 to 5 years. So I can create a proposition or a platform or an app. In my case, was an ApTap's app that will allow me, with the consent of the user, which is the important part. I need to get your consent to have access to your bank account, and then I can offer you better products and services and offer you better deals or do something that your bank, I guess, doesn't provide. And that's what ApTap decided to incorporate. But the journey itself started with a problem. I canceled my BT and Sky services sort of 2 years prior to that when I was at Loughborough. But apparently I've cancelled them incorrectly, and then I had debt collectors chasing me. I had fines.
Oh my God, I had the same issue.
It's crazy.
And my credit record is so bad just because of some bills. I didn't even know that I owed the money.
Exactly. So I didn't know that, and I feel like millions of people around the country have the same issue.
I need to get ApTap for myself.
Yeah, you really should. You really should. And so the idea itself, the solution, I guess, itself came from frustration, from my personal experience. So I decided to take the negative experience and turn it into positive. So I asked myself, why isn't there an app where you can cancel, switch, and sign up between any of the services as simple as downloading or deleting an app with a tap of a button? Hence the name ApTap. Apt in English means doing something intelligently, quickly. Tap means with a tap of a button. I also discovered that Imperial has this thing called Graduate Entrepreneur Scheme, where essentially at the end of your course, you either go apply for a job and go through that route, or you can come up with your startup idea and they will endorse your idea if they like it. The good thing for me that the endorsement availability was there. The problem for me was the deadline was tomorrow. So I had 24 hours to write a business plan, and coming from physics background where most of my degree is quantum physics, quantum black holes, space physics, and Albert Einstein's equations, I didn't really have any experience with business plans or marketing.
Oh, I'm sure after all these like super difficult words, creating a business plan wouldn't be an issue, right?
Well, I guess yes, because I've managed to condense the whole experience, and I wrote the business plan in 16 hours. Half of it was done in the library, the other half was done at a house party at my friend's place. And there was a lot of help and feedback while people were partying.
How old were you at that time?
22, 23.
22, 23.
Yeah.
So why did you decide to choose that route instead of going to, I don't know, like to be employed, make some money?
Great question. I guess the journey itself chose me. I was just quite aware of that in the early stages, by which I mean I wanted to go down the route of applying for 2 companies and 2 companies only, which I believed in and I still do. That is Tesla and SpaceX. I'm a big believer in the future of renewable energy. I'm a big believer of making the life multiplanetary. I've applied to both. I got accepted into Tesla, but they needed more software engineering skills. Whereas the SpaceX, they needed somebody who has US visa, which I didn't have. So they rejected my application. So I had no choice.
When 2 doors are closed, you find another one.
Exactly, 2 doors closed, and then there was this one moment of like, okay, you've got 24 hours, you need to write a business plan. And like you said, if I could do physics, I guess I could do business too. So I gave it a go.
Anything, yes, exactly. So you got the endorsement.
Correct. So I've submitted it at like, I don't know, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, went to sleep at my friend's couch, woke up in the morning, and they said, hey, we like the idea, why don't you come and pitch the idea to us on Monday or Tuesday. So we put the pitch deck together, pitched it, they endorsed it, and then they give you for 2 years a space, an incubator accelerator space for you to then develop the ideas further. And then obviously go through iterations of bringing co-founders on board. Luckily for me, I had 2 great friends from Imperial who I used to play football with for the first team at Imperial. So we were really good friends. One is a biologist, another guy's an engineer, and my physicist. And what I like to say is we had great chemistry between us. So it kind of complements the whole science angle here. And then we decided to go into fintech industry A bit naive, but I guess that also worked in our favor, because if we knew the challenges that we're going to face, we probably might have not gone that way. So it was our advantage.
Yes. So I think that's a very good point, because my son, when I was like, you have to go to a very good school, then it will be easier for you to get to a better university. Like, I will be a businessman. I don't need to study on all these things. But I told him that then you will study with a very bright students. Correct. And tomorrow it will be easier for you to solve your problem. So it happened that you met your co-founders at the university.
Correct. I was also quite lucky with that, knowing them for a couple of years before that, because finding a co-founder and being in a co-founder relationship, very close to being married to someone, you have to share this baby at the early stages, and you have to take care of it for many years.
And one of the reasons lots of startups do not work because co-founders split up.
Yeah, it's number one reason. It's number one reason is co-founders don't get along, or they have a fight and they can't resolve that fight, or they run out of money. It's less about the idea, it's more about the personal side of it, or the cash. So those two things tend to kill the businesses.
But do you think, like, you were very young, 22, 23, do you think it had like negative effect while you were fundraising or trying to find partners, sponsors?
Not in my case. Maybe in some other people's cases, yes. In my case, no, it worked in my advantage, because although we still had a lot to learn, a lot to do, the fact that we had, I guess, the age difference, the age advantage was an advantage, because we could do it for longer, we had more energy, we had more enthusiasm, and we were absorbing still things as a sponge rather than have a set way of looking at the world. And I was pretty lucky the way I raised money as well. A lot of the times you hear stories of where you have to reach out to 100 people and then you have 20 meetings and then it takes you 6 months and stuff like that. My journey wasn't like that. My journey was a bit straightforward, but once again, it started with a competition. So we applied for a competition called VCC at Imperial. We got all the way to the final and we lost the final because we were competing against real problem-solving companies. Because at Imperial they were doing cancer research, helping people with diagnostics, helping with certain speech imperatives, whereas we were trying to build a software platform for banks to help people save money, make money, and competing against that was very difficult. So I took it a bit personal when we lost. But it was only £20,000. At that time it sounded like a lot, but I always knew that £20,000 is not really going to do anything. And I told myself that I'm going to find 10 times more of that money next week. And I manifested that into reality. Next week I found an investor through a mutual connection. I had one lunch with this person, explained him the idea, and he offered me £200,000 at the end of the lunch.
Amazing. And do you have to be an Imperial alumni or a student to apply to all these programs?
No, I think pretty much every major university around the country offers that. So you just need to go to your department and knock on a door and just ask a couple of questions. They tend to have cohorts of that, and it tends to be closer to summertime. So ours was in May, I believe. So no, every major university in the country offers the same thing.
But you can't go, if you're not from Imperial, or you can't go to Imperial.
No. You can bring a co-founder potentially, but somebody has to be from that university because they're going to write an official letter endorsing that person and a group based on your academic record. So, yes.
Have you done other fundraisings or just this 200?
No, that was a pre-seed. We've raised more than £3 million since then. We won Innovate UK Grant for $500,000. We're preparing for Series A right now. We've done about 6 funding rounds since then, and I brought in quite a lot of angel investors. I stayed away from VC investors until now. And I think this next round might be the big financial round with VCs and maybe some financial institutions. But most of the angel investors have been part of the ApTap journey.
How did you find them? Can you give some ideas or advices to the founders?
I mean, the first one is mutual connections. I was pretty lucky that I knew a person who knew a person that invests in Fintech. And the other one was cold reach outs. But I used Crunchbase. So you can get Crunchbase Pro Account. it's worth getting it for a month, and then you can essentially go in the search function, put your criterias in terms of the field, the sector, maybe the level of funding that you're looking at, whether it's seed or Series A, and it gives you a list of all the top investors around the world with their profiles and their sort of risk appetites and stuff like that. You can download that Excel spreadsheet, and then obviously you have to then go reach out to all of those people, write a really creative messaging with a very catchy subject line, and yeah, you just send hundreds and hundreds of emails, and you just need one guy or one girl to say yes to you, and that's all you need.
Amazing. So how many guys and girls have you found this way?
20.
Okay, good, perfect. So find this link below. Yeah, shall we put the link below? Of course, we'll put the link for ApTap as well.
Sure, check it out.
Yes. So what's happening with ApTap now? Because I know that you're working on something else. So
a lot. So along the way, that was super helpful for us. I'll mention two things: is being part of two accelerators that I would say were quite pivotal in the way we managed to bring our ideas and solutions into real hands of the people. One is called Fintech Innovation Lab, that's run by Accenture. Another one is Business Growth Program by London and Partners. Essentially, they are an accelerator incubator that takes great fintech ideas, and then they are putting you in a room with these big banks, because that's the hardest thing to do. You can send all the emails you want, you can make all the calls that you want, but getting a meeting with chief product officer or CTO of a big organization is a very hard task. As a startup, that's the number one problem that you have once you actually build the software or technology. So they would actually bring into our sort of pitch and mix sessions where we would actually be able to speak to real stakeholders and decision makers. We managed to convince our first client, which was TSB, to give us a pilot, paid pilot.
TSB is what?
It's TSB. It's a UK Scottish bank.
Okay.
And they have a presence of sort of 3 million users. So we did a pilot with them. It was successful. We rolled into a full-time contract. And then from that, obviously, the sales process became a lot easier. We then diversified our portfolio of services to cancellation, switching, and sign-up processes, not only for energy. We started with energy, and then we moved to broadband, then TV, eSIM cards. We're now looking to move into insurance and other more interesting services. And long story short, we managed to then secure the biggest banks in the UK. So we've signed and launched with Barclays, Lloyds, Halifax, BNP Paribas, and a few other players. We have access to around 40 million users. So 3/4 of UK population have access to our services. So if you're a Barclays customer, you should be able to go into...
I saw you, so like, oh, ApTap, I was so proud of you.
Thank you. Yeah, we're taking over their marketplace. They've been blessing us with their endorsement. It's been a great partnership, obviously, with the scale of the company and number of users they have. And also we're trying to help their app be more useful for their customers, help them save money.
Well, that's why they're getting better, because of you guys.
Well, hopefully we can add to that as well. Yeah, still a lot to be done.
So is it like a side project for you now, or how much are you involved there?
I wouldn't say it's a side project. It's, I guess my intentions were always to start multiple companies. I knew that I would be running multiple companies. ApTap was a great experience for me to get to know how to start a company, how to bring co-founders together, how to fundraise, how to build a product, and do everything that takes you to make a real business. And also you make a lot of mistakes. I made tons of mistakes.
What are they?
We'll get to them.
Okay.
but I consciously made a decision to step out of the role. I ran the company as a founder and CEO for 5 years, and I knew that it's time for me to step out and do something more purposeful and more passionate. And my passion was always renewable energy, solar energy, and building something that's going to help billions of people around the world. So hence I started the new company. I'm still on the board of ApTap, co-founder, shareholder, essentially hoping for a big exit once we generate a substantial revenue from the company. So I'm advising company every month, I would say, catching up with my co-founders and board members to help with strategic decisions rather than going to the office and being executive. And I would say 95% of my time is focused on my current project, which is Zeal.
Okay, tell us more about Zeal then.
Zeal is a convergence of three industries in one. So I'm trying to convert energy, banking, and AI industries into one. I believe the convergence of these three major industries can create a new market that is going to be massive and maybe even bigger than what we have right now. And the whole purpose of Zeal is to decentralize energy system and build a software that will help people produce, store, and exchange energy, just like you're able to sell or exchange any goods on eBay. The whole purpose of Zeal is to help people to produce, store, and exchange their renewable energy as simple as buying or selling anything on eBay.
You lost me here, honestly. I believe that I am smart, but maybe not that smart. So, produce a renewable energy. Are you talking about solar panels?
So, there's a new concept called a prosumer. A prosumer is a consumer who can produce their own energy with solar, store it with their batteries, and then they're able to sell the excess energy back to the market or to other prosumers. So that's going to be one of the biggest things that we're trying to create at Zeal, to create a new prosumer platform where people can generate their own power and take control of their own consumptions, demand, and be able to monetize that too.
Yes. So are you planning to start it from the UK? I hope not.
I have started it already. I've been running it for 18 months. I actually participated in the hackathon last week at Octopus Energy and we won first place.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
Well done. So the company is based in the UK.
Correct.
But where are you starting? In the UK as well?
Yeah, UK is one of the biggest markets or best markets for an idea like this or solution like this, because it's quite a developed country with a lot of technology infrastructure built. There's still a lot to be done.
But is it bad that there is no sun?
Well, that's a little bit of a misconception. Although you might not have a clear sunlight, there's still a lot of solar energy to be received and produced. And once again, the UK also has the advantage of wind energy. So there's massive amount of renewable energy. It's just people currently don't have an ability to do anything with their energy apart from consuming it and paying for the electricity bills, no matter what the price is. The cost of electricity should not be where we are. Solar right now is the cheapest form of energy on the planet, and it's going to become 70 to 80% cheaper in the next 10 years. We're eventually going to reach near zero energy. So we're trying to accelerate that. We're trying to decarbonize the grid and democratize energy.
How easy is it to use the platform and to start producing your energy?
Well, we will try to make it as simple and easy possible, and we're going to automate a lot of the decision making using the AI and the software algorithms that we're building. So customers themselves don't need to do anything. They just need to, I guess, accept or allow us do it on their behalf, and maybe set certain parameters of pricing or the amount of energy that they're okay to sell on the excess. And there's a lot of smart things that you can do, like V2G. V2G stands for vehicle to grid. So if you have an electric car right now, let's say you own a Tesla, you can use the battery that you have in your Tesla as additional capacity that you can sell back to the grid. So essentially your car is a driving battery.
Amazing. So if you want to start producing your own energy, even selling your own energy, you just have to come to you, and you can do it like with no cost for us. For the
The consumers won't have to pay a penny. If anything, we're going to be making you money. Let's say you go.
I'm your client.
Yeah,
Maybe
sure.
not first, but I'm your client.
Imagine you go on a holiday and you have a house, and on your roof you have solar panels installed. While you're on a holiday, we will try to make you money for your dinners on your holidays. That's the concept.
Hotels and flights as well? No, not yet.
Well, it depends if you're flying business or private. But we will try to get to that too.
Okay, amazing. Thank you. So, should we talk about the mistakes you've learned during this journey?
Sure. I mean, where do you want to start? There's so many of them. Obviously,
the major 5.
The major 5. Oh God.
It's a very important pause.
Yeah, just going through all of the crazy situations we have to.
You don't have too many gray hair, so too much. So
I'm lucky with the genes that my mother blessed me with, so the credit goes to her rather than me. Look, I guess the first pivotal point for us was trying to figure out whether we want to be B2C or B2B company.
With ApTap.
With ApTap, right? B2C is a consumer-facing proposition. The B2B is business-related proposition. When we started the journey, we were pretty convinced that we will be able to get, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of customers downloading our app and giving access to their banks, and then we're gonna give them those services because it was a no-brainer that people should be able to cancel, switch, and sign up with a click of a button. They will be saving money. It's one of the fastest ways of switching to a better service. But what we have realized then is trust is a huge factor in any business, especially when you're touching people's finances and money. People are very sensitive about data and revealing everything, where they've been shopping, how they've been spending. Not everyone wants to do that. So the clever part for us was taking a step back and be like, okay, what if we were to propose the same solution, and luckily we got an advisor who gave us really insightful advice about that, and offer it as a white label solution. White label solution is essentially you can package all of your software and integrate it into existing environment of a client who already has millions of customers. So in our case, that was TSB. So, and the business model changes, the solution changes, but at the end of it, you are achieving what you wanted to do. We wanted to help people save money, save time, and make it super easy for people to cancel, switch, and sign up between those services. So once we've figured out that we can integrate our solution into the likes of TSB and Barclays and all of these guys, the huge amount of efforts that we put to build the technology made sense. It made sense because we could put it in front of the customers, and they're in the trusted environment of their bank. People tend to trust their bank. They just a lot of the times don't like the user experience. And if we wanted to go down the B2C route, we would have been competing with the likes of Monzo and Revolut, which at that time raised hundreds of millions and had hundreds, if not millions, of customers at that time. So instead of competing directly with the competition, what we decided to do is go for what's known as a blue ocean strategy, where you go for a different market and offer your services, maybe not to compete, but actually to enable the
But Monzo and Revolut are completely, they are different from ApTap, right? They
Correct.
are consumer banks.
But they're also a challenger bank who comes with innovative approach and can launch a product like this. Whereas for a big bank, it takes month and millions of pounds to do this. Whereas the smaller companies can do it so much more quicker at a fraction of our cost as well.
So would you say that was a mistake, more like a lesson, and to be more flexible?
Don't be too narrow-minded in terms of your approach, and find a way to listen to what market tells you. And if your solution can be embedded and it's going to impact a larger audience, that's much better. I mean, the other one is fundraising. You don't know how to value your company at the beginning. You tend to give a big chunk of your equity away for not that much money. 200,000 back then sounded like a lot of money, whereas now I'm like, okay, I need another zero at the end of it to start making sense of it. So I guess a lot of dilution for no reason. Splitting equity without knowing what and how the contribution of each co-founder or team member is going to be has also been a mistake. Agreeing on certain terms that then came to bite us, like milestones and being too optimistic. We promised to an investor that we're going to sign a bank in 6 months. He kind of laughed at us and said, nobody has ever signed a bank in less than 12 months, and the three of you think that you're going to sign a bank in 6 months. Good luck. 6 months later, we came back knocking on his door, asking for more money. He asked for more shares. So we had to learn that, not be too rigorous in terms of the timelines, be a bit more flexible, and try not to accept the milestones that you cannot guarantee to deliver. Because otherwise you'll have to ask for more money and give more of your company away.
Were you burned out at some point?
Burned out. Yeah, I guess there were periods where I felt like I just needed a big break. And towards the end of 5th year, I knew that this is my last year. I kind of felt the need to step out of this fintech world. Because after a certain level of, I guess, success, which is a good thing to do, you keep on attending the same parties, speaking to the same people, it's the same kind of conversation. I don't really enjoy all of these gathering for extended period of time. I can be there for an hour or two. I'm a very social person, but staying there for extended period of time and talking about the same thing and building the same product, and then it turned into more of a sales exercise. I don't really like that. I'm more of a disruptor, innovator. I like always working on something.
So did you get bored?
Edgy. I got bored. I felt like my intellect and the amount of brain capacity that I have can be used and utilized in such a diverse way that I felt like I'm only utilizing maybe 20% or maybe 10% of my brain. Whereas in the early stages I had to obviously use a lot more of that because you have to always be on the edge and come up with innovative solutions. Once the solution has been validated and accepted in multiple of these organizations, like I said, it then became a sales exercise. And there's other people who can do a better job of that.
Amazing. So you found the right time to step out and build something maybe bigger.
Yeah, I think the timing was good, and I had a very good, I would say, closure of that. I had a really good presentation that I gave to all of the team. I had an opportunity to voice and tell everyone the story of the origin and kind of remind that, hey guys, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 5 years ago at that time, we started that journey and it was just a dream. And the vision was to build what we call the subscription store, like an app store for subscriptions or iTunes for services. And 5 years later, we built it. And now it's been integrated in all of the biggest banks in the UK. It is a dream come true. But I also have other dreams. And I had a really lovely dinner with all of my teammates. We went for a stand-up comedy, had a bit of a laugh, gave each other a hug, and I left on good terms. Hence, I'm still able to help the company on the board level, but I don't have to be on the office and do any of this fintech stuff.
No, I think you just know that you are very good at making visions, having them, implementing them in the very beginning, and then operations. I think some other people can do that. Right?
I believe that every individual, every person has a unique talent, a unique genius inside of them. The sooner they discover that, the better it is for the world. I've discovered my talents fairly early in my 20s. And I know for me, one of them, it is the vision. It is about thinking outside the box. It is seeing the world like the way it has not been seen. And starting the sentence, imagine one day. And then what I do is I gravitate people and bend the reality around me, and then I'll let the other genius people say, oh yeah, and then build on that idea and say, and we can also do this.
But what helped you to find your talent so early?
I study genius people, and I study the most influential scientists, sports people, people who change the world. I read a lot of books, but in very narrow field of things, which tends to be entrepreneurship, sports, and biography of most legendary human beings.
So what are your favorite books, since we're talking about books now?
Favorite books? I read a lot of books.
I know that.
I read 2 books a month at least. I also listen to one book a month on my Spotify while I'm in the gym in double amount of speed. I train my brain to accept information double amount of speed. It took me sort of 4 or 5 years to get to that, but it's just a faster way of absorbing the world. So in terms of the books, there were probably few that stand out. Number one, I would say is Shoe Dog. I don't know if you know the story. It's a story of how Nike has started Nike.
Oh yes. You recommended it to me.
It's an amazing book. It's probably one of the most inspiring books that I have ever read. It's a journey of how 2 friends went onto a journey to start a new shoe company. One along the way fell in love with somebody else and decided, this entrepreneurship thing is not for me. And then he goes to Japan, establishes this company. It was called Blue Ribbon. Before Nike, and then he rebranded it into Nike. And long story short, he signs Michael Jordan after many, many years. And when he entered the market, you have to understand that was in 1960 something, I think. When he started his Nike journey, the biggest companies around the world were Puma and Adidas and Converse. All three had the biggest market share. Nike had the market share of like 5% or 10%. Long story short, Nike buys Converse and the Puma, they bought Converse outright and the whole company, because Converse was going down, whereas Nike was going up. And the reason Nike kind of was going up on the trajectory was when they signed a big deal with Michael Jordan. And there's a great movie about it, I don't know if you watched it, called Air.
No, I haven't.
It's an amazing movie. Matt Damon is in there, and there's few people. It's actually a story of how they were a $1 billion company or a multi-million-dollar company, and then when they signed this one star and betted all of the budget, what they would do is they normally have a marketing budget for 4 people, 4 players that they would sign. And this guy was like, you know what, I want to put all of my eggs in one basket and let's bet on this one rookie. And people were like, who's gonna buy his shoes, man? Like, nobody knows who Michael Jordan is. Just a young rookie guy just coming into here. And how do you know that this is gonna work out? They made a projection, which was crazy. They made a projection that they're gonna make a sale of $1 million max. Have a guess how much worth of
I don't know, 10?
No, I think it's one of the biggest blunders in financial projections that I ever heard of. They sold 140 million in first year. 140 million, and they projected that they will maximum sell 1 million. Obviously, Michael Jordan does what Michael Jordan does, and Nike does what Nike does. They have the biggest market share, and Adidas and Puma still trying to compete with them, having started as the most dominant 2 companies in the world.
It's never too late.
It's never too late. Start the business, but they had principles, they had values, they had a vision, and the CEO and the main founder of the business truly had a philosophy by which he approached the business, and he had a long-term vision of how he was going to build it, and he has achieved it. I absolutely love that book.
And how much time do you spend when building your businesses? How much time do you spend on building this purpose, value, mission statement?
A lot, especially at the early stages. You only have a certain amount of goes at that, because once you incorporated the company and brought the first few employees, those first employees will resonate that culture. No, I spend a lot of time and I take it very seriously. It's not one of those things where you write some fancy words on a wall and you show a presentation once. No, I truly have articulated culture and purpose for Zeal, and the people that I'm going to be attracting should be following that.
What's your purpose? Your personal purpose?
My purpose is to serve the Mother Earth with my unique talents. I have been blessed with certain intelligence when it comes to physics or engineering or the creative mind. Hence, the physics journey was so amazing for me, and I found it challenging, but I found it also intellectually stimulating. So if I can use my unique talents from physics, fintech, creative mind to help the Mother Earth, help our planet, to transition to renewable energy, to democratize energy, and then help billions of people around the planet to have access to near zero energy, I feel like that's going to be a huge impactful thing.
It sounds beautiful. Shall we talk about well-being? So Let's Go Deep is a channel about well-being, and I know that you are a huge advocate for a healthy lifestyle. You wake up at 5 a.m., run a lot, do lots of sports, and eat healthy. Could you please give us more?
Sure. Well, sports and athleticism always been part of my life. Like I said, I've played a lot of sports, especially at college level. I played for, I think, pretty much every team. First to second team, and captained 3 teams, went to Loughborough to almost become a professional football player. Having then discovered physics, was like, oh no, I think maybe I can do something even bigger than just being a football player. So being athletic, being sporty, and being healthy and fit has always been part of my lifestyle.
How did it come to you? Is it from your family or from your classmates?
I don't know, I've just always been active. I've always played sports, always been a captain of something, whether it's basketball or football or tennis or rugby or hockey. I always just played a lot of sports and I like to compete. I'm a very competitive person by nature, whether it's a big sport, a small sport, or whoever ties the shoes faster. I just like to compete and beat people up.
Oh, okay. What else? So how do you, listening to audiobooks at 2x speed, I think it's very, how do you get rest from that?
Yeah, you see, for people who don't do it, it feels unusual. For me, it feels very unusual to listen to normal speed of voice. It feels like what's going on here?
No, I used to listen to also like your podcast at double speed, but then my brain was, I think, there was too much noise in my brain, and I decided I need to slow down at some point.
Well, that's what I do my meditations in the morning. So I wake up at 5. The first 30 minutes, I drink some electrolytes or hydrate myself.
Okay.
So I kind of start my day with one of these as well. I just make it my own. Then I spend the next 30 minutes doing my meditations, and I've been on a slightly different journey of meditation. Started with Headspace, as basic mindfulness. I wouldn't say it's meditation, it's more mindfulness. Then went into Robin Sharma, which has been a transformational journey for me, especially once I left my Fintech ApTap company. I knew that I have to also transform myself and elevate myself to the next level. And I read this book, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, 5 a.m. Club, and that's when the 5 a.m. Club really stuck with me.
Did you really wake up every single day at 5 a.m.?
Monday to Friday.
Okay.
So yeah, then the next hour is exercise. So meditate from 5 to 5:30. Let's say you exercise from 5:30 to 6:30. Then come back home, shower, read for 30 minutes. So physically read a book and read a book while I'm in the gym for an hour while I'm listening to it as well. And if I have time, then I do my journaling or writing. And by 8 a.m. I'm ready to go. So
how long have you been doing this?
About 3 years. Yeah, 5 a.m. club. Yeah, about 3 years I would say. All the other things depends what it is. Been exercising a lot.
No, I mean exactly this ritual for 3 years.
Yeah,
wow.
3 years I would say.
So disciplined.
Yeah. Once I was leaving the ApTap, I started that. Once I've left the ApTap and started the Zeal journey, it became part of my lifestyle. That does mean that you have to go to bed earlier. Sort of I sleep at 10.
How about social life?
Well, when you have a meaningful purpose, you need to block the noise, and I can't attend as many of these events as I did in Fintech industry because I do need to take care of my mind, my brain, my heart, my soul to be able to give my 100%. So weekends I can chill. Friday, Saturday, I do chill. I do go to restaurants, take my time out, spend some time with family. But Monday to Friday, or Monday to Saturday sometimes, I try to stay very disciplined and focused on it.
But what helps you to be so disciplined, like waking up at 5 a.m.?
I study other great leaders, great athletes. Like Kobe Bryant is one of my biggest inspirations ever. I have a whole list of podcasts and speeches that I listen to in the morning when I don't feel like going up or don't feel like getting up at 5 and doing this exercise. I just listen to him and he always reminds me, there's a mission, you gotta do this. As a leader, you have to do that.
Can you send me that?
I'll send you that. I'll send you that. And one of the most powerful things he says is go after your dreams. Go after your dreams.
Yeah, sometimes you just I'll go after my dreams 1 hour later.
Yeah, I'm not like that. I have a dream, my dream is big, and I go after it, and I'm not gonna compromise.
How old are you now?
31.
Can I ask you a personal question?
Try.
When are you planning to have family?
When am I planning to have family? Well, first and foremost, I've been blessed with a big family already. There's 5 of us. My mom has done a great job on raising all of us. I have an older brother, I have 2 younger brothers and 1 little sister. So at some point I do want to do that too because I see the benefits of having a big family. Sometimes we look for best friends. Lucky for me, my mom gave birth to all of my best friends. All of my brothers and sisters are my best friends.
Okay, I'm like, what? Yes, but so when are you planning to?
When am I planning to?
Is it in your it must be, right? Because you plan everything.
Of course.
Yes, you are very much future oriented as well.
Yeah, 100%. There's a time and place for everything, and that's definitely on my roadmap. When that is, it kind of stays between me and my partner.
Okay, but yes, it's just because in this journey of being a founder, building all these things, sometimes I think lots of people forget about building a family.
I definitely won't forget about that too. As much as I'm trying to help the Mother Earth and invent this world and help billions of people, at the end of the number one priority is going to be my family.
Yes, it's also helping the Mother Earth by having lots of other genius skills, right?
100%. Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Yes, they compliment that. Yes, of course. So, the next question is, what's your biggest fear?
Biggest fear? An interesting question. I like how Kobe Bryant approaches this question, because he got asked that question, and after listening to him for many times, I understand that fear is an illusion and a delusion. So the way you can look at things is people tend to have fear about doing something or by not doing certain things, because they extrapolate their imagination into the future or into the past. Right? They either been hurt or done got something done to them from the past that they cannot let go, or they extrapolate the imagination into the future and say, oh, if things don't work out, this will happen. And that tends to be ego-driven decision. And what Kobe Bryant says is, what are you so worried about? Like, what's going to happen? Let's imagine you have a winning shot and you miss that shot. What is going to happen? You're going to get embarrassed. People are going to laugh at you. Somebody's going to write something on the wall for you.
So what?
So what? Like, you're not that important. The fact that people put so much importance in their decision, and the fact that they will feel embarrassed or somebody's going to accuse of something, is because they are so attached to their ego and how they will be looked at. I think knowing who you are at the core is the most important thing. So I wouldn't say I have much fear when it comes to those kind of things, because I'm not afraid to fail. I learn things very fast. I bounce back from failures or misfortunes very quickly, which is one of my greatest skills. So I wouldn't say I have fear in the common sense of that question. The fear would come from not achieving my potential, not having contributed as much as I could to the mission and the purpose that I've been born to do.
Amazing, beautiful. You know, when you were talking about ego, I decided to share that when I wrote my first book, Moving On, I finished it in a couple of months during COVID.
Wow.
And then it took me months to publish it.
Really?
Because I thought, oh, maybe people will think that, who is she, this like young girl, who does she think she is, and all these things. But then I had an insight that I didn't write this book. This book was written by some source from, I don't know, from somewhere, and I was just a conduit to that.
100%.
So, and knowing this helped me to publish the book, and even if I would have haters, I would be like, I mean, even if the book helped like 1 or 2 people, it's already good. And even with the YouTube channel, I was like, oh, like, let me be, please, like, universe, God, let me be someone like through whom you want to send these messages, ask questions or invite people.
Definitely.
Yes, just do your work through me, and
I think that's a better way of approaching certain things. A lot of the ideas that I have or the things that I create in my head are not mine. It's just what I'm good at is taking those ideas and presenting it to the world in such a way that everyone feels like, oh yeah, of course, that makes sense. So it's not me creating all of those ideas. Those ideas were created. A lot of the things that I'm inventing were already invented. It's just I'm packaging it and putting it together. And the most important thing is timing. I feel like a lot of the ideas or solutions that I create are just timed really well. Even the renewable energy things that I talked about with Zeal, it's not my invention, a lot of the things. I read a bunch of books. There's a company called Rethink X. There's an amazing guy called Tony Seba. I read all of his books, and in the book he wrote about a future where people will be able to trade energy as simple as an eBay. he just wrote that book 15 years ago, and he just didn't know that he was writing about me. When I read that chapter, I was like, oh, he's talking about me. So let me take that and put it into the world. And I'm going to take all the other ideas that I can resonate with, put it into a small package, and give it to billions of people. That's the idea.
Amazing. But you have to be brave enough to do it. But at the same time, believe that it's not you doing it, that it's all been done through you.
Yeah. I that's the thing that I find a bit strange with a lot of people in terms of when they say you're so brave to just walk up to people and be on the stage and things like that. I mean, once again, Kobe Bryant talks about that a lot. The confidence comes from preparation. It's not that I haven't done any of these things. I rehearsed this hundreds of times. I've been on the stage hundreds of times. I rehearse all of those things. I extrapolate. I use my imagination to see all of the scenarios, good and bad, accept both sides, and just go for it. And then universe will do its own thing. If it was meant to be, it will happen. All of the different versions of success and failure already happened. If you think of the multidimensional version of the universe, we already have failed at everything that we could fail, and we also succeeded in everything that we have succeeded. So you might as well just experience the life as it is, and do it at your full capacity.
Try as much as you can and see what happens.
Yeah.
Yes. Any advices you want to give beginning founders, people who have ideas?
Obviously depends on which level. If you're a serial entrepreneur, obviously you're looking at things differently, but the message of going after your dreams is probably the one that sticks with me the most. You have a dream. I know everyone has some thought or imaginative version of their life that they have probably been hiding away or hiding away from it. What helped me a lot of the times is writing it down, because when you write it down with a pen, it then becomes a lot more real, and you can manifest pretty much anything into reality with your imagination, with your consciousness. So one, I would say, go after your dreams, however crazy or big it is or small it is, go after it. The time is limited. Find your true passion and purpose. That comes from Steve Jobs, also one of probably the biggest inspirations in my life. The guy was so passionate about what he was doing that regardless of the obstacles, he would always find a solution, and he would bend the reality around him, and he was so passionate about the product, the service, the culture, that a lot of people didn't see, but they felt it. And he talked about a lot of the times that if you can create a product or service that touches not just the mind, but people's hearts, that's when you have made a real change. So you can find anything that you're passionate about and turn it into a successful business if that's your ambition. But I think come with a true integrity of your own desires and your own ambitions, have a dream, find a passion, and then find genius people who can help you along the ways, because you can't do it on your own. I haven't achieved all of those things by myself. I had a lot of people who helped me, who gave me advice, who mentored me, who might have even done wrong something along the way, which then showed me what bad looks like, so that I can actually focus on the good or do as much good as I can. And don't be afraid to fail that much. Even if you miss the shot, take the next shot. It's not that important.
Yeah, it's just life.
It's not that important. The most successful people are the people who failed the most. It's just the level of tolerance of that is different for other people. And another advice is one of the number one skills, because you're going to be interacting with people, is conflict resolution, finding the truth and finding a way to mitigate any problems or solutions, problems that you're going to find, and find solutions for them. Because at the end of the day, even if you have different points of view about product, service, idea, you should be able to articulate it and win your team behind you. And that's the true quality of a leader, to be able to do that.
Thank you. So much wisdom. Thanks a lot. How can people reach you out? Instagram, LinkedIn?
I'm available on LinkedIn. I'm trying to be a bit more active on it in terms of what I post and how I communicate. There's obviously going to be a lot more announcements about Zeal. in terms of what is it that we are building, what is it that we are standing for. And I'm soon going to be announcing some big things in terms of who we're looking to hire, who we're looking to bring on board, and also follow the journey of ApTap. There's going to be some interesting announcements about that and some of the things that we're doing with the big banks. So yeah, mostly I would say on LinkedIn.
I will leave all the links below the video.
Please.
Thank you for watching and listening to us. Leave any comments, any questions you want to ask, and we will both be happy to answer them. And bye.
Thank you. All the best.